Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Happy holidays to everybody. Um, we've got a couple of the volunteers and our returning treasurer, Tim, are online. And then Aparna and I are able to be here, and Rich will be here, Vice President, in just a few minutes. Yeah, urgent to take care of, and so on his way now. So I'm going to be running back and forth just to move the slides for the presentation. But just to start, if anybody does have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat, and we'll jump on them as we can. So just to start, wanted to share this. We were doing some research just on the chapter. And Tim and I were looking it up, and we originally guesstimated that this chapter was founded in 1997, and we were off by 20 years. So corporate corrected us. And so the chapter's been around for quite some time. We filed as our own corporation for the direction of ISACA corporate in 2019, and then we received our nonprofit status in 2020. As you can see, we've got 754 current chapter members. And when we were looking up who was the longest tenured, it's a Mr. Richard E. Kingston. I don't know, Richard, if you're joining us now, that's quite some time, and I look forward to meeting you. But you get the gold award for that. You can see on the other side, let me move this. This is how many certifications our chapter members have. So, and it's leading the pack with CSAs and CISMs. Here, let me minimize that because that's going to be hard to do otherwise. Here we have who will be your board of directors going into the next term. It's myself having the opportunity to serve as president, Rich, who's on his way as VP, Aparna.
And I have been with CSA for 15 plus years. And I had the solution, IRA solution space in America, and GXP audit and AI specific audit, all these are my key areas of contribution. I'm happy to serve here on the board this year as well.
Yeah, and she was secretary last term as well, and she's not going to say it, but she's like really smart. So, yeah, you are. And then we have Tim, who has been the chapter's treasurer since well, for a long time.
For a long time. It turns out the long time has been since 2007, amazingly enough. And just as it says on the slide, I just retired this year after 20 years with KPMG, most recently with the KPMG parent company, KPMG International. But I'm going to still be knocking around doing stuff, ISACA being one of those things.
And you're really smart too. And then, so underneath the board of directors, there's different roles that can take place driving different initiatives. Lucy has been our membership director for several terms, doing a great job at it. So when the elections, she requested to stay in the same role. So we were happy to honor it. And Matt is who the chapter's immediate past president, right before I've had the opportunity. And he's continuing to assist with community relations as well. In addition, when we were having the elections and things like that, we've got 3 volunteers that have really been wanting to help and get involved in initiatives. We've got them listed here just as free agents because we're still kind of figuring. The presentation will show you. We're going to go over some of the events that we did and the opportunities that we had to participate in the community for the last term. Then we're going to share with you the initiatives that we know are confirmed for this term. And then the final section are ones that we're still exploring and hoping to be able to do, but there's still more in a discovery phase. And what Mohan, Rocco, and Vanessa will be doing falls more in those. So we're still kind of figuring those out. But they're all rock stars. Rocco was in the which chapter is that up in Northern California? Not San Francisco.
Probably San Jose.
Yeah, San Jose. And he works at Stanford University, since relocated down here. So he's transferred over to our chapter. Mohan has been a regular with the chapter when he's not traveling. He actually did a presentation for us on PCI last year. And Vanessa's newish as well, but we're going to give her some time to speak and share some of the really exciting things that she's working on that we're hoping to see if we can tie in with the chapter as well. What do we have? And yes, kudos to Lucy. So one of the big things that happened, I mean, at least in 2022, we were still doing pandemic-ish stuff and meeting online. When it opened up in June, we were able to go back to the Amazon building, but that only lasted up through December when we had to find a new home. The gentleman in the back corner there, Mr. Bill Reed, has, yes, thank you, another very, very smart member of the family here, has given us a home here. So we're very appreciative of it. I do think if I don't say thank you every time, I mean to, and I apologize. But so we've been able to be here for all of last year, starting in February, and our opportunity is being renewed. So we're definitely here for next year as well. Hey, Rich. One of the exciting things that we were able to participate in is the ISACA corporate has a branch called the One in Tech ISACA Foundation, which is a newish program. It's a pilot program. It was in its second year this year, where they were picking 8 chapters from North America that could participate. And we had the opportunity to be one of those 8. And the One in Tech is works to provide scholarships. So we had the opportunity. It actually just wrapped up in Aparna. You were one of the judges in those. Hey, Rocco. No, it's okay. We just introduced you, man. So if you want to come up and take a bow in front of the camera at any time. Oh, grab lunch. All good. But here this just wrapped up where we were able to give 3 students each a $3,000 scholarship with some additional benefits of ISACA membership, things along those lines. But these were the 3 winners that went through the process. And it was just real exciting at a chapter level to be able to do this and be able to participate in a pilot program. Another recurring event is ISACA's Commune IT Day. It usually falls on the first weekend of October, where corporate is trying to get the different chapters to all participate globally in going out and doing something in the community. So we were able to do that in 2022 and 2023. These were the dates. These were the events. We're going to make the slide deck available on the website. We are recording this. So if anybody, as they're looking at this, if you want, here's the links to go directly to the events. I had the opportunity, thanks to Shenji Zhu, to do a guest lecture on careers in cybersecurity for his graduate class at SDSU. on March 1st, which was a lot of fun and great opportunity just for us to kind of make introductions. Hello, hello. We already introduced you, but you can come on up here at any time and say hi to the camera. And good to see you as well. Remind me to check y'all in before things wrap, because I've got some of you, but not everybody. But this was a real fun experience that we were able to do. ISACA corporate participated and was a corporate sponsorship for the International Cybersecurity Championships. It's a global event, and ironically, it got held in San Diego this year. So corporate was big behind it. We were promoting it as much as we could, but it was real neat to have stuff like that at that level, kind of taking place in our backyard that we were able to participate in. On March 3rd, we were for the third annual San Diego Official Cybersecurity Summit. The organization gave us the opportunity to have an exhibit table at the event for the chapter, and actually, I had the opportunity to moderate one of the panels on cloud security from that as well. But it was a great time. It was really one of the first post-pandemic events. So when we were there hanging out at the table, it was great. We were able to see a lot of people that we hadn't seen in several years. The dude in the teal shirt in the what is the lower left of me is our chapter's immediate past president, past vice president. And Saul doesn't get out much. So it was this is kind of like a Bigfoot photo. You don't expect to see him, but you're able to grab the shot. There he is. So and there's Lucy right over on the lower side. And then another initiative that we had in the chapter was to do collaborative events with other organizations to kind of break down silo walls. So what we've been able to do so far is October-ish, we do a collaborative event with ISACA, ISC Squared, Women in Cybersecurity, and ISSA. When we did it here, it was fantastic. Huge thank you to the Cyber Center of Excellence as well from Lisa Easterly, who helped us put together that the CISO panel that we had here. So those events, but in October-ish, we'll do them with those. And then with IAPP for the last couple of years, we've been doing a review of the ISACA Privacy and Practice Survey that comes out right about that time. So kind of looking back, it was fun to look at all the events that we actually did, realizing how busy the chapter's been, in addition to the monthly meetings. In addition to those, here's a sampling. There wasn't enough room to put them all in here of other events in the community that we were able to participate with in some capacity. FutureCon, I know we were able to get free passes to it. Matt, our immediate past president, was heavily involved with the 5th annual USD Cyber Law event, and then with the InfraGard one as well. And then the San Diego Cybersecurity Social Mixers started this year. It's the president, Nico, from OWASP that really drives these, but these are just, they're not educational in nature. They're beer centric in nature, designed to bring people together. But we do those once a quarter, and it's been they've been at the AleSmith Brewery for the last couple of times. So that is everything that we have from the previous term. Going into the next term, and we What is that? Oh, um, if we're going through it at this pace, we are way ahead of schedule. So might even be able to give you guys back some time afterwards. We'll see. Um, but so here, these are initiatives that we have confirmed that as the chapter that we know is going to be happening. And this is one that I'm real excited about, that I've been working on behind the scenes for probably like 5 or 6 months. And what it is you partnering with a couple other organizations. There's a web-based tool that can be used, that somebody can use to identify and secure their home network. It's a risk assessment of a home network. You can look at, there will be a certain section and it will say if it's Wi-Fi. It'll have questions. Are you doing this? Are you doing this? You answer the questions, yes or no, and it gives a quantifiable score that somebody can understand and learn about these ways that a home network can be secured. There's 10 modules in that platform. So what we're going to be doing, and these are open to the public. It's something that we just want to do for the community more so. Obviously, chapter members are invited, but it's designed for anybody. The platform has 10 modules that it works through. So what we're going to be doing on each one of these webinars is take 2 of the modules, and we're just going to look at them, and we're going to say, what is the question? Why is the question there? What risk does it present? And then we're just going to riff in a non-technical way on ways that somebody can do something to mitigate that risk. And then we just move on to the next one. Anybody attending can ask questions, and we just want to help play it forward. It ends up being a, here, what do we got on the chat? Oh, yeah, if you're familiar with that tool, yeah, it's fantastic. And Tim, there you go, man. Congrats on your retirement, buddy.
Yeah, I used to work with Emily for a number of years.
Oh, right on, right on. So just real quick on this, what it's trying to show is which session is, what the date will be. And they're gonna be from like 4 to 5:30. We're gonna record them so they're available for anybody else. And the first one will starts with household computer safety, using the internet safely. And we just work through these different sections, explaining what those are, trying to help just to raise awareness and help. And like you'll see, this is designed to help individuals, families, remote workers, and small businesses. So super excited about the opportunity. And so, but we do this one, registration's available for this one now as well. The next one that we know is when we've been invited back to the annual San Diego Cybersecurity Summit. It's the same one as this one that we did, but in 2024, it'll be on March 7th. Registration hasn't opened yet, but we've been in contact with them. We're going to get a table. It's going to be a similar type experience. If anybody here, we have free passes, so you can come and attend, and no problem. When we get the information, the registration opens, we'll have that. We'll add this event to the calendar with the code in there for you and everything. So if you can get away, love to see you down there. But it does, and it helps us just kind of get out again. We do know that we're going to be doing similar-ish collaborative meetings again in 2024. And these will be, so it'll be about the same time with IAPP for what we'll probably review the policy again, just an updated, and then sometimes we'll compare this year versus last year to try and see trends. We'll do that, or if there's another topic, but we definitely, both chapters really want to collaborate. So we're looking forward to that. We'll have the other one with ISSA, ISC squared, and women in cybersecurity in the October realm. And there's also going to be, we're working with the Cloud Security Alliance San Diego chapter, where it'll be a collaborative event that I think right now is going to be held at the KPMG building. And at that, it'll probably be an additional event in addition to the meetings that we do here, but that one's going to be coming up towards the end of February. And our leadership's working with their leadership. As soon as we get everything identified, clarified, we'll have it up on the calendar for everybody to check out. But super excited and looking forward to those. Now we've got the perspective initiatives. Actually, since we do have the time, Rich, you want to come up and just say hi? And Aparna, you said hi. And
Get close to the camera.
as close as you are comfortable with, bro.
Hi everyone, my name is Rich Gann. I was a secretary for a couple of years, maybe 2 terms
Okay.
during COVID, and this is my 2nd term as vice president. My day job, government contractor. I do a lot of traveling to and from DC.
Hey, Dave, we can't see the camera anymore.
Oh, no?
Do I have to jump up and down?
Here.
That's
Hang on.
probably better that way.
Oh. Are you just seeing the screen?
Yeah, we're just seeing
No.
ISACA San Diego chapter splash.
We're just seeing the banner page now. We're not seeing the actual screen anymore either.
Oh, that's not good. Yeah, but then,
Oh, it won't let you.
right. It's saying Zoom is unable to detect the camera.
That's okay.
So you guys aren't seeing the slideshow anymore?
Yes, we see the slides.
But you don't see us.
Oh, I wonder if
Right.
Oh,
We don't see you in
Okay.
the live camera.
okay.
Because it's not lit.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, they can see the error that we're getting. Yeah.
Anyway,
So,
I can check people.
and Rich is really smart as well.
Don't know.
Lucy, you want to say hi? And you can do it from wherever because the camera ain't working. So,
Hi everybody, my name is Lucy Maxwell. I have been with ISACA since many years ago. And I have been the director membership since 2013. I've been happy enough that I'm invited to continue be part of this role, and it's my privilege to serve the ISACA San Diego chapter and each of you as, my main customer. So, yes, feel free to reach out if you need anything in regards to membership, opportunities, any questions that you may have. I will direct you today.
noted. Noted, yeah. And she's smarter than Rich. Just, and they're all smarter than me. So, just here real quick, now these are initiatives that we're actively looking into. And we don't have them confirmed, but the stuff that we're super excited about. And this is where Vanessa, Rocco, and Mohan are really stepping in to help us out going into the new term. We believe that the scholarship initiative that was this year was successful enough that we'll be doing it again next year. We totally want to do it. It's just put in as a perspective because we're still wrapping up who the winners were for this year. But you should be able to share this with the community and everybody moving forward. Tim, do you want to touch on this one?
Okay, well, yeah, as starting this coming year in January 2024, they're adding another section to the CPA exam. And it's a choice of three possible topics. One is like tax compliance and planning. Another is business analysis and reporting. But most importantly, they're adding a section on information systems and controls. And it's still pretty rare in accounting programs at the various universities that they're really starting to look at IT controls. And so I'm thinking that we might be able to be of some assistance to the local student body that are trying to get involved and take their CPA exam under the new standards. So that they can, you know, if they want to, they can focus on the information systems and controls. So I'm not exactly sure how we're going to work it. We have talked a little bit with San Diego State University and getting ISACA corporate involved in part of their curriculum, and we hope to spread it to some of the other universities.
Go ahead, please.
Just a quick question. You said Pennies, they have a ISACA chapter.
Say that again. I'm sorry. I just didn't hear you.
San Diego State, they have a student chapter.
I don't believe they presently do. Because we were talking about it, and it's a great idea. And we kind of talked about it. I'd say in the last term, we really tried to reach out, identify contacts, folks at different schools that we could speak with. And so the conversations began, and I don't think that there is one. Would love to see it happen. If we can get students that are interested, yeah, the chapter will be 110% behind it.
Yeah,
For sure.
we used to actually go and speak at San Diego State University when I was with KPMG. We actually went out for at least one evening a semester and spoke to the accounting information systems graduate level class, and that was usually quite well received. So that the students could get a perspective on IT audit and how that relates to their financial audit from the outside, from practitioners. And this is just another way of looking at it.
So Tim, I still do that. I do volunteer, one class by semester, so if you get on, I do it. And I focus on sometimes on a different concept, just extremely blockchain, applications of blockchain or something that is in.
Yeah. Could you hear that okay, Tim?
Partially, yeah, the signal quality isn't that great.
Right, I agree. I couldn't hear it hardly.
Come a little closer and we'll have you use your outdoor voice. Yeah. Because we're using a microphone that's off the computer here, so yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah,
Tim,
that's one.
I do still volunteer for the accounting class in SDSU. Yeah, I do it once a semester, and I do touch upon ISACA IT audit as well as some of the peripheral topics like blockchain audit and blockchain. I still do that. So we do
good.
educate students. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess what I was saying is, in addition to talking to the graduate students or the students, you know, on a topic, there's an organizational structure that we might want to consider. When I did a lot of work with my ISACA in Silicon Valley, and we had a really strong student chapter at San Jose State. And that provided a nice opportunity for them to actually do projects. And they presented to us, actually. They were working. So it works both ways. So it's just an idea to consider.
No, that's
Awesome.
dude, love it. Love it. And your slide's coming up. So,
Oh,
you know.
okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump.
No, not at all. It actually, the slide will be on the initiatives we're working on.
Okay.
But if you want to just take a minute, I mean, nobody can see us. but you can share who you are.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Rocco Capella, and I'm a new member here at the San Diego chapter of ISACA.
It's that guy in the middle.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I have a lot of experience with the Silicon Valley chapter, putting on conferences and working with students and that. So I'm interested in, contributing where I can
Yeah.
with this chapter and just slowly getting up to speed.
Yeah, and we had y'all listed just as free agents only because
Yeah.
we're still figuring out what the programs are.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
we'll have.
I like that title, free agent, with baseball draft.
Exactly. Yeah, I was thinking of you three when I,
Silence.
Exactly.
Okay, thanks, Dave.
No, right on, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you.
I'd also like to add to that, I love that initiative of getting involved in San Diego State.
Can you guys hear him? Okay.
He needs a little closer. I'm getting lost
Yeah.
with it.
Sorry.
Yeah, come on up.
So I just want to add to those points that those initiatives are really great. And just to introduce myself, my name is Daniel Garate, and I like to go on campus, get involved with the cyber defense team at SASU, along with the MIS clubs as well. I'm involved with other organizations such as ISACA Cyber Org, which Vanessa will get into. But to add to your point, Rocco, that's something I want to also look into the new year, those types of initiatives. And I'm open to ideas and to have these discussions moving forward too. Thank you.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Yeah,
Thanks
I'll
for
make sure.
jumping in.
Yeah, we'll make sure you guys get connected. Yeah. So cool. Anything else you want to cover on that, Mr. Smith?
No, I'm curious to see how the first exam covering these, this topic, how that goes.
Yeah.
Be interested to see. At least for the California State Board of Accountancy.
Sure. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've known about this for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Kind of, it's coming, and it'll be here. And
yeah, and it's interesting too. I think we were the ones that pointed it out to ISACA National, so I think they kind of missed that train a little bit.
yeah, we weren't convincing enough, were we?
No,
Cool.
we tried.
We did multiple times. And if you guys are interested in any of this at all, love to chat with how we can. We're really just trying with this term just to connect with the community as much as possible, in addition to what we got to do with members and stuff like that. The next one, and Tim was a good driver in this one, and sure, yes, ISACA stands for Information Systems Audit and Control Association. So we do a lot of audit and we do a lot of security, because I live in security. So for the last term, a lot of presenters were people who I knew that I thought could help add value. And I think it all worked out well, but it did steer us away from part of what our roots are in audit. So one of the things that we're looking into and trying to see what we can do is continue with what we've been doing, but also reconnecting with IT audit as more of a core service. Maybe having speakers from the big four, things along those lines. One thing that Lucy was instrumental in is we've connected with the Cal CPA San Diego chapter, which is all of the accountants, and there's a good overlap in what ISAC is trying to do in that from the audit realm. So we've been able to connect with them and talk about potential collaborative endeavors going into the new year and the new term. So super excited about that. Another item that we're looking into is for anybody that's not I don't know who's familiar with written information security plans, or WISP. But Tim, do you want to touch on this one as well?
Yeah, basically, there's a requirement from the IRS now that tax preparers, when they file for their prepared tax information number, in other words, when they register with the IRS, they also need to demonstrate that they have a written information security plan, because in the past, a lot of the man in the middle and such like that, getting, hacking refunds and stuff like that, happened with these small to mid-sized tax practitioners because they really didn't have any understanding of how to protect the client's data. So the IRS has levied a requirement on them that actually beginning this year, 2023, that not having such a plan is $100,000 fine. Now, I haven't seen anything about how, if, announcements of if this fine has been levied on any California firms per se. But I think one of the things we might consider doing is having a meeting with the tax preparers or what have you, because it may end up a lot of like what Emily and I used to see in SOX, and that is they, got a template for a plan, but that's all they had. They really didn't have the infrastructure beneath it or actually make use of it, which turned out to be a lot of problems in the initial years of SOX. And I'm gonna want to dive deeper into this to see what the IRS is doing in relationship to just having, a piece of paper versus having something stand behind it. But I'm curious because it's a pretty big fine for some of these small practitioners. It's $100K.
And it's applicable to all organizations that do that, right? Any that would have.
Yeah, the do that, that hang a shingle out that they prepare taxes, that they practice before the IRS.
Yeah, well, I guess what I mean is there's not a determinant that the organization has to be X size or larger.
No, it really relates to the annual registration process with the IRS.
Gotcha. Yeah. So what we're exploring as a chapter is maybe we can do one of the meetings on the topic to help out. There are some places that have WISP templates that can be used that we can kind of walk through. But either we just don't know if like 1 hour would be long enough to do a presentation on that topic. So the other idea was to do some sort of side workshop that we could just do it online, make it available. We figure out that it takes 2 hours or whatever, so we can be available for anybody that has questions and stuff like that. Yeah.
So how does this interact or conflict, complement with FedRAMP? That's the government's Federal Risk and Authorization Management Program, which has everything you just got up there. Templates, written security plans, continuous monitoring, risk assessment, data collection, and analysis. Because there are a lot of accounting firms which may also run into DoD, to be a conflict. Are they similar? How dissimilar are they? What do we do?
My understanding is they're pretty similar.
So we do FedRAMP, which is already out there.
Your thoughts on that, Tim?
Well, I don't know. FedRAMP might be a little large for some of these one-horse shops,
Doesn't matter. If you're working with DoD, you use FedRAMP.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, understood. But a lot of these tax preparers aren't necessarily working with DoD per se, right?
Right.
So that, and like I said, I think my bigger concern is based on, my experience, in IT audit world with SOX, is that a lot of folks that figured, well, I've got this plan, it's in this drawer over here, but I'm all set. And I worry about, in WISP per se, I don't see anything talking about, much about actually implementing it and checking and see that it applies year over year and that they make changes as the business changes or what have you. I think it's those sort of things that we want to point out to them, because for the practitioners, the tax practitioners, they need to have it to get their registration number every year with the IRS. But I just want it to be more than just a, more than just a Band-Aid, as it were. Does that make sense?
So I guess that kind of like, or ties in with my concern or question is, perhaps, as you just said, they maybe had a workshop, we look at the two, see where the math, where they differ, try and make it streamlined. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
this is on IRS, DOD wants it, if they ever did that, then CNMC program.
You're such an optimist.
It's happening. But the point being, also, VHS, CISA just put some stuff out. So even the non-DOD is starting to look at the federal. My point is, maybe we could look at those two as two critical.
Yeah.
Things to see if we can have a streamlined, present to people, a streamlined, system. I just use system security plan, fine, and it is written.
Sure.
And a program.
Yeah.
That would be, scalable, translatable, rather than I've got to worry about a risk or the FedRAMP or whatever. Just an option in a workshop.
Yeah, and I just wanted to let Tim touch on it, and I'll give you my thoughts, but we're pretty well aligned, so you can hear me echo some of what you just said. But go ahead, you.
Just as the IRS.
Hold on one sec. Can everybody hear him okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Has the IRS given any guidance on what the requirements are? Very wide ranging. Not to.
Yeah, they do have a, like a 20, I think it's 29 page instructions about it. But again, it may be that they just take it as, okay, I'll just write this thing and throw it, and put it in the desk and forget about it. I'm curious to look into it a little more, because I think there's some room there for, providing information, if nothing else, about really making this thing applicable. Because if they then have the policy in their desk, and they haven't done anything with it, and it turns out they get hit, that's going to be interesting.
Well, I guess my item on this.
I'm sorry?
Some people are just gonna write it and have it. But there's, hopefully people will actually take it apart. But that's like a opportunity. My only hesitation is something like that's highly onerous for anyone who's small.
Yeah. Did you want to say something, or I didn't want to give you a chance?
I just echo your saying, they've got to come up with some sort of requirements, what minimally need to see it. Because I've seen a list for whatever label you've drawn it. A one pager, and they qualify that check, it's done.
Yeah.
So, obviously, I think the IRS wants something. And then a verifiable, it's got to be required. Sure it's as well.
The one thing I was gonna say, if the guidance is weak, it's a chance to have best practice. It's like sauce. Here's one paragraph, you entire multi-billion-dollar industry. But it's a chance of probably it's guidance like this is how you should do a password, right? How you should do this. IT security 101 for us, but might be a good practice, especially if they didn't actually.
Sure.
I think bring it kind of around, I think that's kind of what we're saying, my point, is your workshop idea, I think is great. We can look at it, we can check what's the IRS have, what does this have? Are we still all talking this cybersecurity framework? We can give some rigidity to it.
Sure.
And tailorable to the size of the organization. And address all of these things. So a little bragging for our chapter. So we come out leading the local, at least with the localized area.
Yeah.
More of a standardized approach that more than the one page we've all seen, and really addresses the issue of providing a best secure program possible without impacting the business. Doable and doable.
Yeah. No, I love it. Yeah, and I think, like, even when you see these as perspective, it's because we're in the phase of doing these kinds of conversations, so we can take this offline a little further. But I think if I fall back on some of the conversations Tim and I have had outside of this leading up to here, to your point, yeah, we have to take a look at an organization and understand holistically what they have to abide by, you know, and if we get into something like a FedRAMP or things like that, yeah, it's inevitable that there's going to be strong overlap on things. So we can figure that out, but we're also trying to, and it would be good in that program because it's kind of like when you look at, say you gotta be PCI compliant and you go and look at those, you're just quietly hoping you're gonna get you know, what is the easiest way in and out of this other than just telling everybody just please pay cash. But but it is that sort of thing. Oh, if I don't do this part of it, the scope of what I've got is much smaller. And one thing that will happen with the WIS is that it will fall into those places like small accountant firms that this will be probably their North Star versus some of the other stuff. But I love the idea of actually almost matrixing these out into what can be a solid plan forward for an organization.
If I can finish it without the first part, something for dummies.
Yeah, that's why this chapter lets me be president, so we can pull off stuff like that, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. We need to move, Dave, because we've got 10 minutes.
Okay, we can go over. I thought we were gonna be early.
Okay.
And we are making good progress. Okay, fine, Tim. Is there anything else you would like to add on this slide? Or should I proceed?
I think we should proceed, but we'll follow this up offline.
Sure. Okay. Cool. But no, thanks, Jack, and I'll reach out to you on it for sure. That'd be fun. The next section, this is a couple of slides, and this is going to allow me to introduce Vanessa to everybody because she is driving some of the initiatives behind ISACA Cyber. Like Daniel was discussing as well, I know they both get the opportunity to collaborate on stuff like that. But she's working on some really exciting stuff. Her model is coming together. I'm going to let her describe it, but as her model is coming together, we're trying to see how we can integrate that with the chapter for further initiatives to try and help support the community.
Yes.
If you are ready, this would be slide 1 for you, and you can tell me when to go to slide 2.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here with you today. My name is Vanessa Bourgeois, and I am the director of ISACA Cyber for 2 chapters here in San Diego, which is the San Diego chapter and then the SDSU student chapter. And I'm in partnership with SDSU as well, and we'll get into that in just a moment. But we are really excited about the initiatives we're kicking off for 2024. Our mission for ISACA Cyber is to represent the Hispanic community and Latino community for students that have not been represented as I feel they should be. So I'm working very hard for many underrepresented students to have access to certifications, and I'll be collaborating with ISACA this year on that, as well as industry certifications like Google. So if you'll go to the next slide.
Sure.
What I'm focused on right now is the first pilot with Palmdale School District. It's northeast of LA, for those of you who aren't familiar with where Palmdale is. And we are literally changing how education is administered. What we are doing is we're shifting away from just assessment and achievement test to actual hands-on skills and the proper education by creating a traditional and a non-traditional pathway, soft pathway for that, by partnering also with local industry and local secondary education partnerships and institutions. And what I mean by that is we have such a shortage of cybersecurity talent that we are trying to create opportunities for these students that by the time they graduate, they will be able to be interviewed and get a job in the local area. So let me keep going. So here in Palmdale, we are instituting in the fall of 2024, the pilot of 11th and 12th graders electives, 2 electives per grade. We're going to be expanding that also into the elementary school, which is ES, and the middle school, which is MS here. And I'm already talking about the high school. What's missing that we're going to institute as well is I have been collaborating with SDSU leadership, and we have formally created internships in the Homeland Security program for students to help write curriculum with me and the administration of Palmdale School District to write that curriculum in Spanish, so that we offer English and Spanish, because we don't want to be limited by what is there today. So we're broadening the scope. In the elementary school, also we're shoring up consistency. So we have STEAM programs in the elementary school already. And let me just share with you that they already have avionics and robotics and engineering in different grades. So they've already kicked off in some of the areas, preparing these students in these pathways. We're going to assess what is there, and we're going to then expand on it. So in elementary school and middle school, we're going to introduce AI this coming year. So we will start on the curriculum, and this is where I'll work with Dave and everyone else in ISACA on what that looks like, you know, and how to introduce those terms and what grade level and all that. We're not that far yet to actually write the courseware. What the stage we're at right here is to evaluate what is there. And there's a meeting in February with local industry and the colleges to assess if what they're teaching is still relevant, and how can we update it so they come through the pathway with the right skills so they can get interviewed in a job and have hands-on experience. So this is just some of the information here I wanted to share with you on, you know, what the different grade levels. Now, one thing I want to share too is I'm collaborating with the State of California Governor's Office for Workforce Development. As we get this pilot kicked off this year in 2024, coming year, we're eligible to write grants. There's $48 million of grant money. And we can write some grants, and Dave has mentioned that ISACA could help us write some grants But we can submit for things like a lab or robotics or, laptops, whatever we need for this school. So that's real exciting to us. If you'll go to the next slide.
Yeah, sure. And just if I can share one thing,
Yes.
because this is, and just correct me if my understanding is wrong. So this is year one of the program that she's working on and all, so you're hearing what's being developed and it's being implemented and tested in this pilot group in Palmdale. Year two, if everything goes right, the target city would be San Diego.
Correct. Correct.
So that's why
We're
this is
developing
all
the
still
model right now.
perspective, but potentially could be like really cool for
Yes.
all of us.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Cool.
And I have the Workforce Development Office from the Governor's Office support to do that. So we're all working towards developing this first model, understanding what works, get feedback from the students, and literally change, get industry cooperating and having their feedback and supporting it as well. It's a community movement, right? And so I'm changing, shifting us from just the achievement tests or assessment tests. We're building community, and these kids will have digital badges and like a digital wallet by the time they get to be a senior. And then they'll have certifications partnering with Raices in Google and partnering with ISACA and anyone else, where we can get certifications available for them. And industry will have non-traditional pathway where they go spend the afternoon at an internship or apprenticeship. And we're not going to require them to go to college necessarily. If they want to go to college, they can. They'll come in with college credits and a dual enrollment. But if not, we will have led them through the pathway to go and be interviewed in the local community there and get an entry-level job. And that's what this slide is showing you. So here's elementary school. We start introducing terms and things like haiku and games and all, but you're starting to introduce what's an algorithm, things like that. What is cybersecurity? And then we go on to middle school. We have starting in middle school on, we'll have a overview course. What did she call it? Overview and it's like a team project. That's not the right word. She has a name for it. But then when they're a senior, it's a capstone. So they will be getting college credits or digital badges. And you can see here, they'll have the foundational course and an intermediate course. And then they can go in the afternoon to the community college as well and participate in a course there. And what Dr. Zubano is going to work out is creating the cybersecurity pathway with the college. So we're going to be coming back, and that's part of what she's working on for me right now. I'm meeting with her in an hour and a half. And so we're going to have certificates and work-based experiences and hands-on. And at the end of these pathways, you can get an associate's degree, or you can go right on in and have your badges and have credits and experience and work in industry in an entry-level job. Right now, we're discussing two paths, which is a technician path and an analyst path. That's where we're starting. And then we'll go from there as we develop this out. But it's really exciting because this is really a big shift away from the traditional way we administer education. Does anyone have any questions?
Does anybody here have any questions or
What are the things we should be?
you're gonna want to speak up, Mr.
So what are the, kind of from an action item standpoint, what is it you want us to think about or consider program coming to San Diego next year?
Could you hear that okay?
Not at all.
Oh, come on back up.
Or can you just repeat
And-
it?
No, go ahead. We'll just have you stay. With your smart thoughts.
Oh, so the question I had was, so sitting here in San Diego, right? You know, what you're saying is pretty cool stuff. It's very interesting. But what do you want us to think about or what do you want us to consider if the program were to move to San Diego?
Oh, okay. So here's the game plan. The tentative game plan right now is we're going to build this out in Palmdale. And then as the year progresses into 2024, I will begin sharing with the ISACA chapter here what we're seeing that is working and what we found to be missing, what needed to be revamped, and start getting the foundation built out here in San Diego. We had 2 targeted school districts here that have been kind of kicked around. One was City Heights, and then there was one more. Danny, you're in the room there. What was the other one?
Chula Vista.
Chula Vista.
Chula Vista.
So we will begin the early discussions and planning with, you know, what we do know. And, you know, like we have to make contact with those school districts. We have to see what they're currently offering. Have they partnered with local industry at all? What are the needs in the community, in industry, so that we can gear that education and curriculum to the local area so that they can get jobs. Because no more are we just going to teach out of a textbook and then you get out and you can't get a job. That doesn't work.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
So kind of what I'm hearing then is you're asking us to take the learnings that you and your team are getting from Palmdale and
Yes.
help you to consider to think about how that would apply in San Diego.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to get to the ask. What is it you're asking?
Yeah.
To do so? Okay.
But-
That helps a little bit.
To your point as well on that, I mean, there's at some point we're kind of doing this. We've been having these conversations,
Okay.
but at some point as this matures or becomes more tangible, as a chapter, we're going to be reaching out to corporate
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
letting them know as
Of
well.
course. Yeah.
And at that point, it'll be collaboration at that level.
Okay. Yeah.
And you know,
No, this is very helpful.
participate
Yeah.
in
I was
everything.
just kind of wondering how we, kind of our role in this.
Yeah, and I think it's so initial right now that what I really wanted to do with everybody here was just to raise awareness.
Okay.
That it is happening and you're gonna hear more about it, and this is why we're as excited about it as any of the
Yeah.
other
Yeah. Sounds very cool.
initiatives. You
Okay.
know?
All right. Well, cool. I look forward to it.
Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
If you'll go to the next slide.
I just have a quick comment. This is
Okay.
Ben Mendoza. I've been in ISACA member since 2010. A retired Navy chief, worked on cybersecurity for the past 30 years. Outstanding the fact that you are Raíces Cyber,
Yes,
actually translating the information to Spanish. However, all these products that I see, they mainly scope into providing outstanding training, but it just go into becoming or making those students employees. I think this program should add entrepreneurship path. While it's put a bug in the ears, you know, that you can get together, create a worker, serve director, enterprise. You have the option of working for a company or do your own thing. So, you know, just I think the program is outstanding. However, you're scoping into, you're going to go into an entry point after 2 years, you have an associate, used to work for a corporation, I mean, I have worked for many corporations. But take into consideration that you want to make a bilingual path here,
that we do $1 trillion a year with Mexico. Some of that information should make it to these students. So when they get out, they have that entrepreneur bug instead of trying to get a job, for a particular company. So that you saw here.
No, that's great. Totally appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just don't be surprised when we ask for your opinion next time. Yeah, cool. No, that's awesome. But like I said, I think the overarching thing, Rocco, is just that we're super excited at the potential of what it can do. We're super happy for what Vanessa's got going on, and we're gonna see how it plays out. And fortunately, the chapter's just in this position, and we'll see where it goes from here.
Yeah, there's 768 students will be impacting.
In
this
the
pilot.
Palmdale.
Yes, in this pilot.
Got it. Awesome. Anything else you want to add to that? We got one more slide after this. It's way less climactic.
Any other questions, anyone?
Yeah, and if anybody has any online, just drop them in the chat. There is a very nice comment for you there from Jim. You can see
Oh,
that.
thank you. Thank you, Jim.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I'm
Awesome.
excited about it. I want to see these children and up and coming young adults see a new future, know they can have a career, know that they do not have to live in, some of these poor neighborhoods and life that they've been born into, that they can rise up and have a great career and also help their families and create community. They don't have to move away to go get a job. They can stay there if they want. But my point is the opportunity is there.
Yeah. No, I think it's fantastic on all fronts, and totally appreciate being able to collaborate with you on it to the best that we can. So,
Thank
right
you.
on. Yeah, no, thank you as well. So the next slide is just last one. And this is just to share that one of the things, Lucy, we're probably going to rope you in on this one as well. But Tim and I were talking about this, where it's just been a while since we kind of have audited how we're running the chapter internally. Everything's fine. It's just we got a bunch of different subscriptions. We need to do the same thing we bark and tell everybody else to do. So this slide is kind of, I don't want to call it a walk of shame, but it's what we'll be doing internally just to kind of clean up stuff. I don't think it's going to impact anything that we do here, Zoom stays and stuff like that. But that's the next thing. And I did want to include this one because I was super focused that we're holding ourselves accountable that we're doing for everybody else. And that's everything that we had. If anybody has any questions or thoughts, or if not, we're good. Let me just wish everybody happy holidays. Oh, please.
Hey, so I thought if the recognition already went to you as the president of the Sendero chapter, but I'm really grateful what you have done during the previous year, and very happy that the membership saw the value that you brought to the chapter and to all our members, and they decided to re-elect you because I think you have done an outstanding job. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thanks. Cool. All righty. Well, maybe that's a good note to wrap on. If everybody else is good. But again, happy holidays. Merry Christmas to everybody, whatever you celebrate. And look forward to seeing you in the new year.
Thanks, guys.
We have, Tim, was there anything you wanted to say in closing?
No, I'm just saying thanks to everybody for coming to the meeting and looking forward to the new year.
Yeah, buddy. Right on, man. So I will catch you online and we will chat on music and auditing and everything else that fills our plate.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks, man. All right. I'm gonna
Thank you.
close this.
Have a great holiday.
Thanks again, Vanessa.
Thank you. Have a wonderful holiday, everyone. Thank you.
You as well.
Oh, that's me.